Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the delay. I was having some issues. This is a one-man show at the Intermission Truth Seekers Live headquarters podcast center in Texas. I hope that wherever you are, you're enjoying your evening, you're enjoying your night. Hair wasn't cooperating tonight. However, I'm glad to be here. Had to shave. The razors that I bought weren't cooperating tonight, but I'm glad to be here nonetheless. Cut myself left and right. I'm glad to be here nonetheless. Glad to be with you. I'm glad that you're enjoying the opening credits, Matty D. Wherever you are, if you're on the highway, if you're at your vehicle, standing there, if you're at the radio, if you're inside your workplace, if you're on break inside the break room, if you're on vacation right now, I hope that you're enjoying your night, your evening. I want to give a huge shout out to the contributors that have donated and that have seen it fit to donate with us today. Means the world to have y'all. Means the world to have you here tonight, to have you here spending time with me. We've got our second part, the continuation of the hit stream. At least it's a hit according to my analytics numbers wise. Nobody Wants Black Men. Tonight's part 2. You're not going to want to miss this one. Tonight is part 2. We are digging even deeper into the madness. You're really going to enjoy this. But first, to preface this message, I'd like to say a message. I'd like to preface this message with a message. I'm not saying that this applies to all black men, okay? Not saying this applies to all the black men. I'm just saying that this is a very large majority of the portion of the black men that we talk about here on this channel. You already know that, ladies and gentlemen. However, in order to make sure that we abide by YouTube's laws and regulations, I want to make sure that we make that very clear. Very, 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 very clear. You're going to see a couple of new screens and new transitions we've been working on. I have some really cool slides and different interactions that we'll have later on during the stream. Just trying to bring a more professional radio-like broadcast tonight. If you would like to contribute to the channel, then you are more than willing and able to do so. I can post the links in the live chat box. I also want to address something that I got from one of our viewers who was upset that I've been posting links to donate to the channel. She's very upset. She left a comment, and I was going to read the comment of one of the comments of the days, but I decided not to. I decided to leave it be for now. But I wanted to address her comment because I can see that this is going to be somewhat of an issue. This is going to be the first and the last time that I actually do this. I want to address her comment specifically because she is a member or a supporter of the channel. However, she had a very big problem with me consistently dropping the donation links. We'll get ready to start into this main topic of discussion here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, first and foremost, I got a message that said, hey, I love your channel. I love your content, but I hate it when you ask for donations and contributions. I hate that. It annoys me. And she says that you could just ignore it and only read the comments and the super chats from people who decide to donate. That's how you could get more donations. And she said, can you please stop doing that? So I deleted it and I immediately blocked her from the channel. But I want to kind of break down why I decided to block her from the channel. You see, the nature of our channel is that we have enough enemies as it is. There's already enough people that go against us and what we believe in, what we stand for. So for somebody to be playing both sides of the fence, in essence, to lend ammunition to the other side, the ops or the oppositions, which is the general men in the manosphere, for somebody to come and leave a comment of love saying that they enjoy the channel, but in the same token, in the same breath, claim that they also hate that I do things a certain way, that lends itself over to arsenals and ammunitions that the enemy can use against us, right? So I say to you this: if you love the channel, then just keep it at that. If you do enjoy the channel, if you're bothered by me asking for contributions and donations, then you don't have to watch the channel or you don't have to leave a comment saying so. I'm going to continue to do so. A, because this is my channel. B, because I need contributions. My webcam cost $100. This microphone that I have in front of me cost $50. The one across me is $50. Thankfully, I had 2 microphones donated by our contributors, Organic Black and Toni Morrison. My headphone splitter cost $50. I have 2 other pairs of headphones besides the one I'm wearing on my head. Each of those costs $40. My laptop costs $700. All right. My audio interface cost $150. The part that I just bought off of eBay so I can get ready to use my new microphones that Toni Morrison and Organic Black sent me cost $100 for the microphone preamp. All right. I don't make it mandatory to donate. I don't have members only chat where you have to pay $5 to be able to chat live stream while we're live with us. I don't force or admonish anybody for not being able to donate. I appreciate you understanding this. If you want to donate, then donate because you want to. Nobody's forcing you to. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Now, it's one other thing I need to clarify. I got a lot of comments on the last live stream that had to do with the first interracial marriage or relationship. Cynthia G recently, or she did at least some point in the past, a stream depicting the first interracial couple as a black man and a white woman. And while I completely support everything that Cynthia G stands for, I just wanted to first and foremost say that the research that I've done is going to be a little bit more touchy and controversial, and here's why. All right. This is what I found. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. We'll dive into it in a second. I know this is boring right now. This is what I found. Okay. I'll explain why I'm sharing this to you right now. Anna Kinsley, a free woman. On the first day of March 1811, in the Spanish province of East Florida, white plantation owner Zephaniah Kingsley put his signature on a document that forever changed the life of a young African woman. This document was a manumission paper which ensured her legal freedom. The young woman, a native of Senegal, who Kingsley had purchased in a slave market in Havana, Cuba, was his 18-year-old wife and mother of his 3 children. The paper not only marked the beginning of this young woman's freedom in the New World, it was also the beginning, I'll blow this up so you can see a little bit better, of the written record of a remarkable life. Her name was Anna Magdalene Jai Kingsley. She went on to own businesses. She went on to do very well for herself, and she was a freed woman. Now, obviously, this is the touchy subject, right? However, in all the research that I've seen, the first interracial relationship or marriage still was a black woman and a white man. Okay? That's just what I've seen today. All right, that's just what I've seen in all of my research. Now, having said that, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we're all waiting for, I did my transition wrong. We're restarting it. Bam. All right, the topic of discussion at hand. I hope you enjoyed that cool little transition. This is a one-man show, ladies and gentlemen, so forgive me. Not everything's perfect. It takes a lot of work to do a live show and make sure everything's perfect. Next time, the transition won't be messed up, so I appreciate you understanding. Last week, we talked about the fact that white men, by and large, will not date white women who, when they find out, have had past history, kissed, married, dated, whatever, to black man. But today I bring you evidence from another part of the world. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to hear from the Latinas and the Hispanics on their familiar views of interracial dating. Buckle up. Here we go. Now, something I want to talk about before we dive into this is called passport bros, okay? Passport bros. There's this entire phenomenon in the manosphere of black men needing to get their passports to travel overseas. Travel overseas, you can find you a submissive woman, a submissive wife. You can find you a mother of your children. You can find everything when you go overseas or when you go to South America, Brazil, Colombia. All the submissive women overseas. In a nutshell, the passport bros believe that obtaining a passport, traveling to a Southern American country or across the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean, and finding their submissive woman is what happens when you obtain a passport. In reality, this is anything but the case. Marina, who I believe is located in Brazil, maybe she's in Greece, but she's Brazilian, I believe, has given us examples of what these men really seek to do. It's nothing other than sensual commerce. Men paying for sensual relations with women because they're too failed of men to actually do it here in the United States. The desires to fulfill their sensual needs because they have needs that aren't met here in America. They're losers, most men in the manosphere, and have no value on the dating market. Therefore, women don't place value in them. So they think that their status is somewhat going to be raised when they travel to a foreign country. But as you will hear in a little bit, this is anything but the truth. This is going to be a good one today, ladies and gentlemen. A quick side note. I want to say something also to the passport guys. The guys that think that you can go overseas and find the women and whatever it might be. There are some felonies, this applies particularly to black men, that limit you or restrict you from getting a passport. All right. So already 40% of you, 30 to 40%, depending on the felony conviction that you might have, whether it be violent or non-violent, already can't get a passport. Hate to break it to you. In the off chance that you are able to get a passport, there are many countries who do not accept felonies and felony convicted men to travel inside of their lands. Now, I thought that this was pretty interesting. I actually typed in the YouTube search. I typed this into the YouTube search bar. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Let me share my screen with you for this revelation here, ladies and gentlemen. This is hilarity. All right. I'm going to do it just so you know that I'm not lying. Here's YouTube. Here's my YouTube page. All right. It's my homepage. I watch a little bit of everything. If I type in, can I get a passport with a felony? Right here, copy and paste. Can I get a passport with a felony? And I search this right now. Would you not believe, can you believe, how surprising is it that the first 1, 2, 3 videos, 4 videos, 5 videos, the only videos that I see, it looks like we have a traveling as a felon. I think he's, I don't know what he is. The first 5 videos that pop up are videos from black men. The first 5 videos of can I travel with a passport are from black men. What are the odds? I didn't see any white men making videos on how to get a passport when you have a felony. I saw a lot of white men making videos on how to get a passport. There you go, True flying again about the black man. Well, I showed you personally. That's just what popped up. Now, let's talk about the Passport Bros, a group of young men who believe that once again, if they get a passport, they're going to be able to find their dream woman in another country. Right? Another side note, I want to show you this video as well. I know I'm taking a long time before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, but I got to show you this as well. I actually managed to find a video that said this. I managed to find a video that's titled, and I got to show you, audio listeners, just know that you're not missing too much right now. I managed to find a video titled Passport Question. Can I get a passport if I owe child support and or it's in the rears? And let's just take a guess for our audio listeners who can't watch us right now. What race of man do you think made this video? What race of man is it? If you guessed a black man, you are correct. You're correct. You are correct. Let's go ahead and start this live stream off, ladies and gentlemen. I've taken enough time. Let's start this live stream off. Make sure that you're watching, sharing, liking the video if you are in the video. Our first video comes to us from a woman who was raised in Peru or Bolivia, I believe. Right? She has something to say. She has something to say, which I know a lot of brothers are going to hate hearing. The name of this video is Why Hispanics Don't Want Their Daughters with Black Men. That's the name of this video. This is something we talk about all the time. However, they'll call me every name in the book because they simply don't believe that this is the truth. But once again, we're going to show them the exact nature of everything that we talk about on this channel.
So my grandma had a daughter, and she dated a black guy in Honduras. And that's when it started. You know, my grandma got very crazy. She was like, you're going to mess up the family. You know, we don't want those people in our family. We want to keep it Spanish, the old traditional way. We can't have another race in our family. So then, you know, my dad grew up with that. So then my dad had me and my sister.
Now, I say this all the time, but of course, they're not going to believe me when I say this. They're going to think that I'm just pandering. I'm pandering. Just know everything I say, I research, and I know pretty much down to a T. Let's continue on.
And he would always tell us, you guys can't date a black guy. You guys are going to mess up the family. And
Lord have mercy.
How is that going to look with our family in Honduras? How are they going to judge us? We can't be different. We have to be the same. So it's like they got raised a certain way. We have to follow that structure that my grandma left, you know? Do you agree with it? Mm-hmm.
Now, they're going to ask her, do you agree with it? I want you to know that obviously the answers she's getting ready to give are very politically correct answers because it's a black man and a black woman who are interviewing with her. So obviously she can't just say, yeah, I agree with it. I completely understand where my family is coming from. No, but you can be damn straight that she takes into consideration and count what her family is saying to her. So let's make sure that we're being completely honest here, and let's listen in between the lines to her response, and we're going to break down her response and exactly what she wants to say and what she's trying to say in between the lines. This is fascinating, ladies and gentlemen.
Me personally, because I grew up here in America, I don't see it that way because we live such in a very
diverse community.
Yeah, so it's like you see Dominican with Mexican, Chinese with Indian,
Greek with Puerto Rican.
So it's like.
Now, did you hear anything with black right there? She said Greek with Mexican, Chinese, Puerto Rican, something, something. Just somehow managed to skip over the black men completely. Now, this is subconscious thought, right? This is thought that takes place in the minds that isn't necessarily being controlled at that point. But even in subconscious thought, if we take that and derive the facts out of there, we still get the exact message that we're preaching right now. And that is subconsciously, we don't see that many successful black male and Latina women, black male and Asian women, black male and white women relationships. So subconsciously, she doesn't even say that. That's not in her trained her trained thought process. And it sounds like she might be in New York. I hear somewhat of a New York accent, and there's a lot of mixed, all kinds of tonal skin people up in New York, right? I didn't hear anything about black men. We'll continue on, then we'll move on.
You see all these types of races mixing up together. It's like, I don't agree with that because it's like, there's so many things that you can find. Like, I could date a black guy, or I could date a Chinese guy or Indian guy. It's like, you just
now bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. This gets even crazier. Just bear with it. It gets even crazier. Trust me when I say this gets crazy. All right. Hang out with me. This gets wild.
You gotta have them all.
Do they stress that? Is that the same applied to white and Asian men as well, or they just distinctly said black?
It's between black and Dominican. They that's a no. There was you could date an Indian, you can date a Mexican, you could date a Chinese. I guess it's just like the dark skin color.
Ooh, Lord. You can date an Indian, you can date a Mexican, you can date anybody but Pookie. You can date anybody but Tyrone. I didn't say it. I'm just bringing the truth to light. You can date anybody but the black male. Almost done here.
But I don't really agree with that. I tell my parents. I tell my.
Yeah. You don't agree with it, but this is the way that it is. All right. So this is why I say, ladies and gentlemen, black men of the Manosphere, if for all you Pookies and Ray Rays thinking that you're going to get a passport and go over to a Latin American country or a Middle Eastern country, if you are that brave to go over to a Middle Eastern country, not knowing the language or the cultures or the religions, if you are brave enough to actually travel outside and decide that you want to have a relationship or a marriage with a woman who is of Latina descent, you are going to be in for a severe wake-up call, because this is how the overwhelming majority of them think in relation to black men and how they see black men as far as their societal value. They see every other race of men above black men, just as she told you directly from the horse's mouth. But of course, she'll claim that I'm pandering. That's not all, though, true, because my cousin had a friend back in middle school, and his grandma's best dog had a dog named Tommy, and the dog was raised by this woman, and that woman had a black husband. Right, I'm sure. I'm sure. You don't believe what I'm saying, though? I brought you a black man who has acknowledged that he got his passport, and lo and behold, it didn't solve all of his issues. It didn't solve his problems. It didn't solve what he was looking for as far as finding a wife in another country. Nope, it did not, ladies and gentlemen. He's heartbroken because of it. He is heartbroken because of it. I bring to you a black man who got his passport and titled this video, "Brazil Women Are Not the Same Anymore." You see, this black man is mistaken. Brazil women are exactly who they've always been. But because he fell into the passport trap, thinking that he'd go get a passport and everything would be made whole, everything would be made righteous and righty in his life, because he fell into the trap, he's now realizing that he's trapped. Let's turn this volume up.
You want to go visit, take your wife, take your kids, have a good time, and do all excursions and stuff. That's cool. That's a nice place to do it. Because America has come over here and they have filtered out everything. The rappers and singers have come over here.
The rappers and singers have gone to Brazil and filtered everything out. What majority of rappers and singers do you think, what race, what's the majority race of rappers in America? Let's just think about this for a while. just Just enlighten me if you can. What race of rappers do you think we're going over to South America and filthing it out in the words of this black man here? If I had to think about it, MJ, I think she's on the money. She says black. Gordon, I'm gonna roll with you. Gordon says black. True Mystique says negrito. Kina, you're close. Kina says Spanish. Kina, you might. And I know Kina's being facetious and sarcastic, y'all, obviously. Kina says Spanish. We'll see, Kina. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know.
Here, and they have totally.
Now he curses here, so I'm going to mute it for a second.
Like just having a genuine conversation, like, "Hey, how you doing? You know what's going on? Hey, you want to have a drink?" No, because they're gonna get around to pay me, take me to.
Oh wow! So the same man that was fighting for Passport Gang has essentially been turned down by the women he was fighting to try and get. Make no mistake about it. Black men, you are viewed the same way around the world, everywhere you go. This is why it's so dangerous, and this is why I started this series, to really shine light on how the rest of the world sees you, and to really hopefully change your mind on the way that you look at your own community and your own people. Because at the end of the day, make no mistake about it, when you have a community that you need to turn to, when you have a group of people that you need to turn to, you will have no other community that sees you the same way that black women do. And at this point, you're driving off the very community that you will have left to resort to, or won't have left to resort to, when SHTF or when stuff hits the fan. But you keep on pissing off black women, and you'll see exactly what kind of community you have left waiting for you. You keep doing it. Apparently, I was watching Mr. Scamules, and I was brought to attention by one of our subscribers and viewers. He has other races of women talking about how they can get high-value black men. These women went on to say that they're taught how to care for their man, basic slave rituals. Oh, well, my man. Oh, well, you know, I think that the problem with black women, all these other races of women are saying, well, the problem with black women is this, and then this, and then this, that. You know what I never saw any of the other races of women say? I never saw them or acknowledge that they dated any black men themselves. So now Kevin Scamules has decided to take his ignorance a step further, and now he's bringing other races of women, trying to disparage and shame the identity publicly of black women. This is why I call Kevin Scamules the new face of white supremacy. This is why I put the KKK hat on Kevin Scamules. Rest assured, all things equal and constant, if any other race of women has the choice between a high-earning white, Asian, Hispanic, and black male, body shape, height, weight, and all factors the same, if any other race besides a black woman has access to this type of man, I guarantee you, 97 times out of 100, she will choose every other race of man before the high-value black male, assuming that everything is constant and the same in between them. That's a fact. Now, I was looking on Reddit once again. Oh boy, we're in for it today, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be absolutely incredible. Lord have mercy. I can't even break down to you what we're getting ready to see right now. All right, I really can't. I can't. But we're gonna do it. Reddit has brought us gold once again, ladies and gentlemen. Second, I'm trying to change something on my panel here. Now, in the adult industry, it's a well-known fact that escorts do not do business with black men. As a matter of fact, the stories we're getting ready to read from Reddit prove and back up exactly what I'm saying. Now, I'm not advocating for any illegal activity, Susan, at YouTube. I am not advocating for adult escorting activity on this channel. I want to make sure that everybody does everything legally. However, if you have ever been to a certain page that's not the front, but the page, or if you've ever been to another personal site maybe Craigslist personals, and you've decided to take a step on the wild side with one of the ladies who make a living off of the adult industry, who provide friendship services, you have more than likely seen an ad that said no AA. And I say more than likely, but I do need you to know that the no AA is in more than 90% of the ads as far as working girls. No AA means no African Americans, particularly black men. This is so prevalent that this young brother decided to make a video on this. I've seen these ads myself. Don't ask me how. But it's a well-known fact that workers in the adult industry do not and will not do business with black men. The name of this video is vulgar, so forgive me, but I want you to hear what this young brother has to say.
Online going through ads, and I realized a lot of these prostitutes said on their ads that they don't do business with black guys.
Oh my goodness.
It was like, yo, it's just a personal preference.
Oh goodness.
And I'm looking through these ads, I'm like, black men were the only group of people that these women did not deal with.
Hold on a second. Let's rewind it. Maybe we misheard him. Ladies and gentlemen. Did he say that the quote unquote most desirable men that black men think they are? Did he say that the lowest earning, most desirable black men that they think they are? Did he say that the most desirable, lowest business owning black men? Did he say that the most disenfranchised, the most victim mindseted group of men in America are the only ones who not even sex workers will take as clients? And I say sex workers, I don't mean this as a derogatory term, but it's well known that sex workers, adult escorts, are very liberal people. They don't operate within the normal bounds of society. However, when they even decide that they don't want to deal with black men by and large, that's saying a lot. Hold on now. Let's make sure we heard this correctly. Oh boy. Let's rewind this video. For the audio listeners, you're just looking at a dusty black male. I'm kind of dusty looking today, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to get an edge up soon, ladies and gentlemen. Don't hold it against me. I'm getting an edge up soon because I was looking at myself on the camera today. I was like, yeah, something's got to change.
A lot of these prostitutes said on their ads that they don't do business with black guys. Some of them was like, yo, it's just a personal preference. And I'm looking through these ads. I'm like, black men were the only group of people that these women did not deal with. And I'm like, damn. And this wasn't every prostitute, but it was a lot, especially for the hotter ones. So I made the prank call.
So he ends up prank calling. Now, let's go ahead and take this to Reddit, ladies and gentlemen. Reddit, once again, is going to be our best friend here. And I found a Reddit section called Sex Workers. In the Reddit section of sex workers, it's stories from, you guessed it, women who operate in the adult industry. This is what this story on Reddit had to say as far as women, not just white women, not wanting to do business with black men. The story goes on to say this. So, what's with this, quote, no black guy thing? I've been noticing ever since I started escorting last year, a lot of escorts put in their ads, no black guys. Now, I know that if you're seeing many clients a day, you may want to avoid the stereotype about black men and their well-endowedness as to not put yourself out of commission for the day, so to speak. I also know that having bad experience with a few clients of a certain race can turn you off of that race, at least professionally. So I'm wondering, because the way I see it, if it comes down to the more unsavory racist stereotypes about black men, can anybody explain this phenomenon? Are there any escorts who refuse to see black men, and why? The first response is even some black escorts refuse black men, and I saw this as well. It's not just a race thing, even though black men are going to try and say, oh, it's racism. It's a light racism out to get us. If I had to guess, I would say it's avoiding the thug types who could be obnoxious and disrespectful. Someone else said, the escorts I've met all said no black men because they can be disrespectful, but mostly because they nickel and dime you to death. They say if you're going to go black, get the money up front. Lord have mercy. Someone else says one of the reasons girls that I know in my area won't meet with black men is because some pimps will try to sneakily snatch up a girl by posing as a client. And as far as I know, most area pimps or wannabes are black men. Also disrespectful and cheap. She says, don't get me wrong, my first client ever was a younger black guy who was respectful and excessively generous, but they have a reputation for being arrogant and pushy, not paying what they're supposed to, being shady. Oh, but it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. It gets worse. I found another story. And before I even go on, shout out to 300 people watching right now. Before I go on, I want to say one thing. Even in the adult escorting realm, the problems that the escorts see and identify with black men are the same problems that I identify with them as well. For instance, this whole pimp notion that she just got done saying can be seen in the Black Manosphere and Kevin Samuels, even as far as the comical slap sound that you hear when he disagrees with a woman, also known as the pimp slap. It's very funny, the parallels, once again, ladies and gentlemen. This transcends everything. Back to Reddit we go. Before we go back to Reddit, let me explain this a little bit further, okay? The Manosphere is going to try and claim that Becky is stealing all the white men. Manosphere is going to try and claim that Becky is going to give black women all the competition. Nobody wants black men. And the off chance that you see a black man with another race of women, more than likely he's one of the severe minority of men that actually have his life somewhat together. And make no mistake about it, just as we explained on the last live stream, once another race of man finds out that his race of woman was with a black man, it's once you go black, you're not coming back home, sweetie. Make sure you watch the last live stream to see those stories. Let's go on to this article a bit more. And let's dig a bit deeper, because this gets very interesting. This gets even more interesting. But wait, there's more. This article, modernmandingo.com, says this. It's refreshing. Let's try one more time. Let's try and share this page one more time. For our audio listeners, you're not missing much. I'll read everything that's pertinent as far as this goes. Modernmandingo.com says this. I know that the name, right? No black apples. Why sex workers reject black men as customers. Cheapskates and thieves. Number one, some girls have noted experiences with black customers that try to hackle down their prices before an arranged meeting. Others have had black men put the money on the dresser before they act, grab it, and then rush out after the deed is done. Jeez. Well-endowed menace says, I'm not going to go there, but they say that the black men are large, obviously. Disrespectful youngins. Young black men have been typecast as being degrading to women. Who would have thought that, right? Both in and out of the bedroom, thanks to certain aspects of hip-hop culture and the images it portrays of how men treat them. Women referred to as B words and H words, hoes, right? The same thing that black men in the Manosphere come onto my panel and say to the women. Some escorts have stated that black men, young black men, can be rougher and more demeaning than their non-black customers, reiterating what was mentioned about minimal product damage. Pimps, once again, goes into the pimps' reasoning. Why am I sharing these articles with you? I'll explain why right now. Disrespectful youngins, cheapskates and thieves, pimps. Now, it's no surprise to me that the least owning business group of men, the least educated group of men, the least earning group of men are referred to as cheapskates and thieves by the women of the industry who have actually serviced black men. When you own a business in the black community, most of your support will not be from black men. Hardly any of your support will be from black men. When you own a business, most of your support will come from white people and from black women. Disrespectful youngsters. Black men have made it their entire pop cultures for males under the age of 30 to base their existence in degeneracy and evilness. This is the reason why the black Negroid men will come to my channel and call men who believe in treating women with dignity and respect simps. That's the reason they call me a panderer or a pander bear, because I have morals and integrity. This is why you'll never see an influx of actual black men who are seeking to progress the identity of the black community. You'll never see a group of black men that all as a collective come together by the hundreds of thousands like they do on Kevin Scamill's channel and say, you know what, brother, I agree with what you're saying and we need to do better for ourselves. Those men are the minority, right? My nose is tickling once again. I shave. Something about when I shave. This is why they call me a simp. Disrespectful youngsters. Number 2 reason why a lot of escorts don't want to deal with black men. I've talked about the adult worker that housed me while I was homeless. None of my brothers did, but the adult worker did house me when I was homeless. She was a good friend when I had no friends, and I always treated her with dignity because she was still a human being, and I saw her as my fellow human and friend. Pimps. Now let's talk about this subject. It went on to say this. However, it seems the biggest reason for exclusion of black men comes from pimps who hunt down independent sex workers and force them, sometimes violently, to work under their control. This is why the black manosphere has grown exponentially in comparison to the white manosphere. The black man believes in 50-50. He wants his woman to be traditional whilst also carrying non-traditional ways, meaning pay half the bills in a neo-traditional way, but also cook, also clean, also launder, also shop. Essentially, what the black man fights for is the right to be the pimp or the black male owner of said woman, right? This is what most black men in the black manosphere want. They really want to be your pimps. Black women, you need to listen to every word they say and obey with an absolute compliant mindset. Just like a pimp, you have no say in the situation. You have no say in regards to your feelings. In regards to your feelings, if you're too tired to cook that day, or maybe you're just not agreeing with the game plan because you see a fault in the trajectory, that is when Kevin Scamills is going to remind you with a slap, the homosexual allegedly pimp in a suit, that you need to submit to your black king. You need to submit to your most failing group of race men in America. You need to submit to the most conquered race in the history of mankind. And he does so with the slap of a hand, virtually. To which becomes a very comedic moment to the black men who watch in his platform. Once again, interesting, isn't it? The same traits that made Kevin Scamills famous, the slapping the black women, the disrespecting the black women and humiliating their public image online, is the same thing that pimps do. They slap their women, they humiliate them out in public, they beat them up, they break them down because ultimately they know if they can break them down, they're such worthless people that if they can break them down, they know that ultimately they can destroy their spirit, their essence, that they can control them. And right now you're seeing black women refusing to be controlled by the most failed group of men in the history of mankind, aka black men. However, when you say this, they call me a coon. They call me a simp. When you stand up for the rights of women, when you stand up for human beings because they're human beings, then they call you a simp and a panderer. It's very interesting. This is why majority of the escorts don't deal with black men. This is why the divestment of black women is starting to become popular. This is why black women are starting to leave black men. Like you heard before, it's not just the white escorts or the Asian escorts or the Latino escorts. It's the black ones as well. Nobody wants to deal with black men. They're bad for dealing with. They're bad for doing business and building business relationships with. They are the worst out of every other opportunity that they have as far as men go. Now, we already know that the black manosphere is sensually driven. This is why they're in the manosphere to begin with, because they're losers. They don't have the ability to date women. They're mad that women have options, abilities. They're mad that women are getting comfortable with being and living a lifestyle that does not include the authority or the pimp mindset of a man to control them. They're upset at that. They hate that. They seek to put themselves in the pimp position by trying to destroy and humiliate women, and they live for that. But what I want to talk to now is getting back to the passport bros. The reason why they decided to get their passport anyways, black men have found out, you know what? They're not going to listen to us, so we're going to start preaching that you need to go get your passports. Go get your passports, black women. I'll show you a couple more videos here. And yes, it does get better, ladies and gentlemen. It does get better. Here we have a guy who calls himself Razor Rays. Razor Rays is about as prototypical, stereotypical Pookie as you can get. Marina with the 5-pound, forgive me, super sticker. Thank you so much for the support, Marina. 5-pound super sticker. want to put those links if you'd like to donate. Again, if you want to donate to the channel, then you are more than welcome to do so. This video, 322 people watching. Make sure that you hit the like button. If you can't donate, that's fine. It's not a problem. If you want to donate, then I appreciate you. Raise or raise, ladies and gentlemen. He has a video titled "Traveling Abroad for Women is Smart. Stop Hating on Black Men." Social Dominican Republic. Why am I pointing out specifically Dominican Republic? You know that I do everything for a reason, ladies and gents. You know that I do. And I'm going to show you in a little bit why I decided to point out the Dominican Republic, aka the DR. This is where all these black men are going. DR and Brazil. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Wait until you hear this. Wait until you see this. Wait until you see what I've uncovered. Lord have mercy. There's the links in the live chat. CashApp.com/$truthseekers. TRUTHSEEKRS. Thank you, Sasha M, for the $10 super sticker. $10 super sticker from Sasha M. Thank you so much. Let's get this 150 likes. All right. We have Hyper Pookie here. If you're watching or listening on audio, just know it's a very jacked, muscular black man. He's going to explain to you why he believes traveling abroad is smart.
I'm telling y'all today, guys that are flying abroad for abroad women are smart. They're doing the smart thing. They're living their life.
All right. That's pretty much about as intellectual as the video goes. And he goes on to say, obviously, the DR, Dominican Republic, and everything in that nature. All right. Now I'm going to bring you a video from a woman who is a sensual worker inside the Dominican Republic. All right. She's a sensual worker inside the DR. Why do you think that they're going to the Dominican Republic? Particularly. Saw a lot of videos about the DR. I'm going to show you why. This young woman is underage. I believe she's 16 or 17. I want you to watch this. I'm going to translate because this is actually in Spanish with subtitles. So for our audio listeners, just listen to the Spanish and then I'll translate after the video is done.
Lo que yo gasto en realidad o se me van en los niños o se me van en la casa.
Is it mainly tourists who you see?
Mayormente.
Is it mainly tourists that you see? Her answer for our audio listeners is they are mostly tourists. Once again, keep in mind this is an underage, meaning she's under the age of 18. Woman. She's a sex worker, and most of the people that she sees are mainly tourists. You see, this is why I talk about the black men, the black manosphere the way I do, because this is the reality of what's really going on. They'll make it seem like the women overseas are submissive, that the women overseas are worshiping them, that they appreciate them. Oh, the women overseas are this and this and that. No, they're going overseas. They're going to different countries because they're paying for underage girls. They're paying for women who are in far less better economic situations. They're paying to play, essentially. And not just that, but most of the time, and a lot of the time, they're breaking the law. But they won't tell you that. They're going to try and mask this as some sort of conquest or crusade to find a more valiant woman, to find a more perfect woman, to find a more submissive woman, because all the women here in America are just, no, the reason that you travel abroad is because not even the sex workers want to mess with you as a black male. Nobody wants black males. And the group of women who choose to still die in Black Lives Matter rallies, the group of women who choose to still fight for you, put their lives on the line, to support you, to put their fists in the air and stand in solidarity for the image of black men, the group of women who still birth you are the ones that you tear down, which you go to other countries. There was another girl later on in the video. I'll show you her. She lives on the streets and she's a worker as well. I want you to see her. In case you do not know, once again, I'm going to go ahead and translate for our audio listeners. She is also underage and she lives on the streets. She's a street worker.
Yo soy la facilitadora que da los talleres aquí en el parque los martes de bisutería. Allá tenemos un proyecto que son para chicas que
For audio listeners, what you're seeing right now is two Afro-Latinos with a young Afro-Latino male sitting on the bench. He looks actually African. And this lady's talking to her, saying that she wishes to change the life of this young woman that she's talking to right? The sex work industry overseas is very, 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 very rampant, particularly with youths, particularly with the darker skinned youths, because it's just not as much infrastructure, obviously, because they're darker skinned and they have to deal with the darker skinned mindset of males who are the least building, the least educated group of males on the planet. As a result, everything around the world is the same. The darker your skin tone is, the darker your skin tone of the males in the community, the worse off that you are by and large. This beautiful young lady has been on the street since she was 13. So when you hear black men saying that they go overseas, that they prefer women overseas, I want you to know that this is the type of girls that they're going overseas to be with, okay? Make no mistake about it. This is why I call the Manosphere the pedosphere. This is why I call Coach Greg Adams a pedo. This is why I call Donovan Sharp a pedo. I call all of them pedophilic men, because you can't expect a group of men, you can't expect me not to believe that a group of men that routinely preaches and jokes about hanging on junior college campuses so they can get younger girls because they're more biologically able to have children. You can't expect me to not think that when they go over to another country and they can do things in the dark because there isn't as much police. Don't defund the police. If we don't have the police to stop Negroids over in America, they'd be doing the very same thing that they're doing to these young girls overseas, because the young girls overseas don't have police infrastructures. They haven't had white men come in and make certain rules that say you cannot touch this girl unless she's a certain age. And if you do, we're going to lock you up in our jails. They don't have that. You don't expect me to think that a man who was a coach of high school, middle school girls basketball coach, Coach Rick Adams, I know you're watching right now. You don't expect me to really think that he's going to go overseas, see a girl like this and say, oh, well, she's 16. I'm not going to do it. No, of course he would. He jokes about them being 18 and he doing it. Do you think 2 years really matters to him? Do you think 2 years really matters to him when he knows he can get away with it? Do you think any of those guys that watch Coach Greg Adams or Kevin Samuels and that preach about a younger woman and then preach about the wall, preach about all this nonsense, do you think any of them are going to have a problem with being with this young lady right here? I guarantee you that they wouldn't. You know why? Because they have no moral integrity. They have no moral authority. They follow corruptives. They follow evilness. They follow absurdity. That's what they base themselves in. That is the manosphere. That's why I call them the pedosphere. So when you hear this manospheric thought train and process saying, oh, just get your passport, guys, because Western women are the problem. When you hear this thought train, oh, the Western women aren't submissive. You can go overseas, though. 90% of the time, that's the type of women that they're going over to see, because the women here don't want them. That's a fact.
Desean, ¿verdad?, darle otro rumbo a su vida. Tú eres joven, tienes todas las oportunidades por delante.
Just look at the heartbreak in this woman's eyes, man. I want you to know that most of the men that come to my channel and disagree with me, contribute directly to women like this right here, to the heartbreak that you see in her eyes. 16 years old. Look at that face.
Manuela is 16 and has been on the streets for 3 years.
No hope in life. She reminds me a lot of the young black women in our communities, the young black girls who did not have father figures, the young black girls who did not have a community to raise them, to guide them, to protect them, just as they don't have today. And you wonder why black women choose to divest. You see, one thing about the black community is all over the world, once again, it's the exact same. There's a reason why Africa has 23 of the world's most poor countries. There's a reason why if you go to Latin American countries, the ones who are the most poor are the black people. That's because black men are the most failed. This is a fact. Everywhere around the world is the same. Everywhere. We're going to get to our comments of the day here in a little bit. I've already been speaking for 51 minutes. Wow. Already been speaking for 51 minutes. We're going to get to our comment of the day here in a little bit. Jeez. I got to start writing less because I'll never get through what I got to say. I'll never get through what I want to say. Let's go ahead and go to our comment of the day right now. We're going to go ahead and go to our comment of the day. Should yeah. Yeah, well, we might not. We might go ahead. All right. Here we go. All right. Our comment of the day comes to us from a user, of course. All right. His name is the Loser Network. I just want you to kind of go into it knowing this. His name is the Loser Network. Why? I don't know why they give themselves these names, but it's appropriately dubbed. He says, black men and black women deserve each other. Neither of them want better in life. That's what he starts off by saying. Otherwise, they would make better choices. I want to address this first and foremost. Black women absolutely do want better in life. This is why you see black women starting to divest and leave black men alone. This is why you see black women choosing to say, you know what, I think it's okay for me to date interracially now. I never dated interracially before, but I'm starting to see that, you know what, I might want to date interracially. Black women absolutely do want better. That's the reason why most black guys find themselves in the manosphere. It's the reason why most black guys are such hateful people, because they recognize they don't have a chance with women. So this guy already starting off disingenuously saying that most women don't want better. No, women always want the best man that they can find. All right. This is natural inside of women. All right. Not just that, but a lot of the time they have the ability to actually date up. Men don't have the ability to date up unless you are a more dominant male, which most black men are not. All right. Let me get back to this comment here before I psychoanalyze it to its core. He says both of them have more children at young ages out of wedlock than their white counterparts. Once again, this is going to be very explainable due to the fact that black men, by and large, don't marry. We've seen this for our own two eyes. Black men choose to not marry. They don't believe or have family values or structures. This is why you see the Latin women in the very beginning of this video say that if any other race she brought home was anything other than a black man, it was socially acceptable, right? You see, the Latin community is very big on family. The Latin community is very big on family structure. The Latin community is very, very big on that unity, right? And so that's why they go after black men specifically as the only group of men for their daughters not to date. Okay? Once again, it's all black women's fault, of course. We know this. It's all black women's fault. Let's continue on the comment. Black men go to college in an attempt to change the world. Yes, this guy said this. He said black men go to college in an attempt to change the world, while their white parts go to college for money, power, and prestige. That doesn't even make any sense. Black women out-educate black men as far as collegiate and collegiate activity goes. There are more black women in college than there are black men. Right? But I wouldn't expect anything other than misconstrued facts from somebody that calls himself the Loser Network. At least he's being honest there. Black men go to college to change the world. No, they don't. Ridiculous. And let me clear this up. Having money and power and prestige, that changes the world. Something that black men have the least of in comparison to every other group of men in the world. You can't make this up. Neither black men or black women leave their homes. This doesn't even make any sense once again, but this is the mush-mouth Negroid logic that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Neither black men or black women, he says, leave their homes except to shop for grocery, go to work, go to school, go to church, or go to the club. White men and women actually leave their homes, therefore increasing their chances of finding real love. This is the type of logic that we're fighting right now. This is it. These are the guys. I can't even follow that train of thought. I'll say this. At least this guy had the ability to form coherent, somewhat sentences. They just didn't make any sense, that they were completely disingenuous. At least he wasn't just completely tyronifying and ebodifying that rebuttal that he had for us. What point he was trying to prove, I have no idea. But at least he wasn't just, but this, and typing in such an illogical way that I couldn't even get through the sentence. So I'll give you that, Loser Network. You formed sentences, and for that I'm thankful. That's more than what I could say 90% of the black men who come to hate on me can do. All right, so I tip my hat to you. That was our comment of the day, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching in your vehicle, 350 people watching right now. The numbers are steadily growing. If you're just now joining us, I'm actually going to go back to play a video in the beginning of the live stream. I know a lot of you joined throughout the night, so you haven't seen this video. It's going to be quick. It's the first video that we played, and it's pretty much just a Latino woman explaining why her parents don't want her to date black men. If you're in your car, give it 2 honk, a very friendly 2 honk. You might hear another 2 honk from somebody, maybe not. 350 people watching, but if you're in the big city, you might see another person or hear another person comments, doing donations, making sure that all your pages are correct, making sure that your audio is correct. This is not for the faint of heart, ladies and gentlemen, but for all 347 people of you watching right now, I do want to thank and appreciate and love on you for giving me the time of the day, giving me the support. It means the world. It means the world. Go back to this video right here. And then we're going to open up the phone lines. Then we're going to open up the phone lines. All right, here we go. Sorry, I was looking at something there. That's a trip. Here we go. Yo, 50 people just dropped off. Yeah, they're tired of it. 50 Dusties dropped off. My nose is still tickling, yo. It's crazy. I know it's because of the shaving, though. I'm pretty sure. It just sucks. One more time.
Had me and my sister, and he would always tell us, you guys can't date a black guy. You guys are gonna mess up the family. And how is that gonna look with our family in Honduras? How are they gonna judge us?
All right, we just need to stop it there. If you want to watch that video, it's why Hispanics don't want their daughters with black men. I have one other video. I was watching Nyla Says the other night, and this is a trip. This is like wild. It's a video of these black Hebrew Israelites. Now I relate them to the black Hotep's Jesus. You know, the I don't know. I don't know what these guys are. I'll relate them to the Moors. The 11 Moors who are locked up in Massachusetts. But I want you to watch what these dudes had to say, and I'll explain to you in a little bit why I call the Black Manosphere, who represents and supports men like these, because obviously they're the type of men that fall into the women-bashing, hateful logic and rhetoric that the Manosphere supports. I want you to first listen to this, and then I'm going to explain to you why I posted this video. This is crazy. All right. This is crazy. Name of this video is Black Male Patriarchal Hebrew Negrolites, done by Nyla Says. Nyla Says. I'll be sure to drop her links in the description box below. Let's watch this.
Hold on. You want to allow one of your brothers to rape with your daughter? You say rape as if rape simply means to grab. No. We talking about we read the verse. We read the verse. No, when someone was in the kingdom of heaven. When the kingdom is.
Now they're arguing over whether or not it's okay for rape to be okay for 12-year-old girls. Just to keep that in mind, okay? This is men in the manosphere, pretty much.
We're gonna get women when they 12 years old. Right. All right. Say it again. As soon as they start in the kingdom of heaven, when their period starts, that's when they become a woman. Okay. All right. So we're gonna deal with them when their period starts. Right. When their monthly starts. Have sex with them. Have babies, man. With 12-year-olds. Brother, there's in the kingdom we're gonna do that, man.
In the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna get with women when their period starts, when they're 12 years old. Make sure that you check out Nyla Says video on this. It was absolutely mind-numbing. That's at the 3-hour and 27-minute mark. And she brings in a lot of really good points, and that's how these black men will always try and use religion to somehow pimp their women into submission. And now you have a group of black Hebrewites who are trying to use religion to tell you that's okay, to tell the world that it's okay, to normalize what black men are trying to normalize so hard, and that's for fighting for impregnating, for having relations with women who are underage. This is why they travel overseas. This is why they go to the Dominican Republic, because they can do this uninhibited. Parallels very closely to each other. Nyla Says, once again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you support her channel and watch that live stream. It is truly a revealing and revelational live stream. Shows a lot right there. Shows a lot right there, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to give a huge shout out to everybody watching. I know we had buffering issues just now, so that's why a lot of people left. We had buffering issues. Thank you for letting me know. At this very moment, we are going to go ahead and transition. It is time for the Click to Call THT live portion of this broadcast. Click the link to call into the show. Click the link to hop on StreamYard. It's not really a call. One day we'll have call. Once I get actual podcasting, like audio interface right here where you can like do calls. You can set the interface like right there. It's a big interface. You can have calls. You can do Bluetooth. You can do a whole bunch of stuff through it. Once I have that, then we can actually do calls. But in the meantime, that link that I just put in the live stream panel will enable you to hop onto our live stream panel and share your thoughts on everything that you've seen below. I want to thank everybody for I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Today, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is National Ice Cream Day. It's National Ice Cream Day. It's actual National Zookeeper Week. Every day, by the way, is a national something day. I found this calendar online that tells you what day it is in the national day. So today is National Ice Cream Day. It's International Nelson Mandela Day as well. International Nelson Mandela Day. This was actually given to us or made a holiday by the United Nations. The UN recognizes today as International Nelson Mandela Day. So make sure you get a cup of ice cream. Say thank you to your local beekeeper or zookeeper. And celebrate with us. Marina has joined us once again. Marina is on the live stream panel. Before we let Marina go, I just want to give a huge shout out to the $5 donation that we just had. Forgive me, I'm trying to scroll through and find it. I can't find it. I think I might have passed it too long ago. Oh, there it is. I'm trying to find it. Okay. Tyson's speech impediment says Naker is Karen spelled differently. Go figure. Wow. They are coddled victims of their community. Yeah, so apparently I learned that the Nakers thing came from this clip. Who was telling me this? I think it was Shrooms on our channel. So, and this is horrible that I have to even play this, but RIP to Kobe Bryant. For those of you who didn't see this, this happened on international television. All right. An MSNBC news reporter said this about the team that she was talking about. All right. She meant to say, and this is the thing. I'm trying to see how to say this politically correct. Listen, RP to everybody that was in that crash. This isn't a comical situation, and I hate to even make it a comical situation. But this is where the Naker word comes in for. All right. This is where it comes from. I'll just turn it up. It's a bit quiet, so you might not be able to hear it.
Los Angeles niggers can.
All right.
On the Los Angeles niggers can. On the Los Angeles niggers can. Los Angeles. On the Los Angeles niggers can. Los Angeles. On the Los Angeles.
She meant to say Lakers, and they're assuming, and they're kind of giving her the credit that she might have gotten Knicks, the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers. She just might have fumbled it in her brain. It just came out as Nakers, and so I was enlightened as to why that's a thing. So that's why they say Nakers. Yeah. Pretty comical, right? Anyways, on to our live stream panel. We have some people that are here joining us on the panel today. We have Andrew. Good to see you, Andrew. We'll let you come in a second. Pause. That was definitely a pause moment right there for my New York people up there. Common Sense Prevails is also in the building. Marina, the floor is yours, Marina. Thank you so much for joining again. Marina, I know you bring personal experience to the discussion, and so the floor is yours.
Hello. I want to talk about that little girl. I saw her face, and I remember when I was in Rio de Janeiro, and I was participating in a social project to help girls that was in this kind of life. We were teaching them to have another kind of skills, to how to do work, how to get them education, how to teach them to say another language. The leader of our project, she was a very famous politician, but sadly the gangs got her. And until today, we don't know what happened with her, but we know that it has something to do with the gangs because they were not getting money from these girls. And the sexual trafficking is very profitable. And when you have something that stops these girls for selling their bodies, they will have pushback, So let me tell you why this is a problem more important in the Black community. Because the Black community is below the line of poverty. Okay, they are the people that don't have a stable job or have lots of kids and are involved with the drugs. So sometimes their own parents, they pimp out the girls, They make the girls responsible for bringing sustain to the home. And sometimes they take the money of these girls, they beat them. And this is very profitable. I mean, what these guys from the Manosphere are doing, they are supporting a terrible, terrible, terrible fate for these girls, you know? And they think that it's funny when they come here and they can hook up with these girls that are very cheap, you know, because they can beat them, they can drug them, and there are no consequences. And if they had some consequences, they go on only to the police station, they pay a fee to the police, and that's it. You know, nothing happened. The scheme is never broken. And it's funny because when I was in Brazil and I had to run away because our project was we didn't have any money, and the gangs were telling horrible things to us to go there, go off. I had to go to another country to escape from them. And I managed to see the other side, the girls that were actually educated and went to America, because I stayed and I traveled a lot. So I met this community of Brazilian outside of Brazil, and they always said that when you go outside, what I want to explain to you is that this girl, this Mexican, Spanish, where she's come from, I forgot what she said about her family don't accept her to be with a black man. I know that she had a video and she was trying to be nice and polite for the sake of the video. But we all know that when you have black skin, especially if you're a man, there are some stereotypes attached to you. They don't want this to their kids. They don't want to see that their kids go to a place, a store, and be followed. Because, you know, there's always this that our grandmothers said. They say to us, like, if you go with a black man, for sure they will follow you, but if you go there, show up with a white man, maybe they won't follow you. And this is very, very true in Brazil, because colorism is very big. Racism, I cannot even say that maybe it's racism, because these are the stereotypes that our own people, we attach to ourselves. So we can really blame them because we don't try to stop this in our communities, no?
Marina, that's so tragic to hear, and you're so right. I'm glad that you bring and you say personal experience, because once again, Marina, ladies and gentlemen, has lived through this and she's seen with her own two eyes. We have personal experience, and so when we hear stories like this and we see that it is in communities, particularly with people of darker skin color or Afro-Latinos or black people, however you want to say, it brings to light a lot of different situations, and it brings to light a lot of different truths. But the biggest truth is that even today, as we bring stories like this to black men, they'll still come on to our channel, to this live stream, and they'll still have something negative to say about what we're saying. We could tell them that literally being a part of the Passport Bros Black Manosphere movement and going over to Southern American countries for sex work is destroying the lives of women that look like their daughters. We could say that until the sheep come home, but still they would have no problem with that. They would have a problem with us. And that's what gets to me sometimes. That's what in my mind I have a hard time wrestling with. When you can have somebody like Marina break down specifically how black men, how men traveling to other countries for cheap sex can harm the youths, can take youths who don't have protection, who don't have police units, who don't have laws to really protect them the way that we have in America, right? And put them into a situation to where in a few years, or even at the tender ages of 12, 13, 14, because I'm sure that it happens down there, put them in situations to where they're going to interact with the same men that are claiming that they travel overseas, that they travel abroad because the women are more submissive. That's what I'll never understand, how we can stand for everything that's positive, that's truthful, that's humanitarian, that's good, that's proper, and still they have a problem with it. I'll never understand this. $50 contribution, $50 super sticker from MJ. Thank you so much, MJ, for that $50 super sticker. Thank you, MJ, for the support. We also had a few Cash App donations, and once again, Kier with the $50 PayPal donation. Thank you, Kier, for the $50 PayPal donation yet again. Thank you so much, Kier, and thank you as well, Naeem and Narissa, for the $15 and $10 donations on Cash App. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all your continued support. Thank you, Marina, as well. I see you, Common Sense Prevails. Forgive me. I see you, Bossy Empress TV. Forgive me. We're going to go to Andrew really quickly. Then we're going to go ahead and go to Gordon, then Bossy Empress, and then Common Sense Prevails as well. Andrew, welcome to the panel, Andrew. The floor is yours.
What's going on, Truth? Thanks for having me back. No, I just saw somebody said in the chat, Vinette Gloud, they said past postsexuals. I just think it's sick that you see guys willing to pay an arm and a leg to go, to the DR, to Brazil, whatever have you, just to have sex, just to pay for sex with someone, and literally that's the only reason they're going. I want people to know that it's not just those underdeveloped countries like the Brazil, like the DRs, Honduras, etc. It's also in places like France. When I went over there, I went overseas when I was like 16, 17, and I saw the same things there, not just with, black people, but also with amongst white people. You see the gypsy people, like you see a lot of them. They're, a lot of them are in the subways and other places, and you see a lot of the prostitutes in all the districts and everywhere. And it's not just, not just black kids, it's really all the, I guess, poor people, you could say. It's usually black folks, right? But you see
Right.
it everywhere, and but you see kids is really the big thing. It's like, and they'll be in groups, you know what I mean? And sometimes you're not sure if they're there to rob you or they're there to proposition you. Sometimes you really can't tell because if you're not from there, you don't know what's what. But that's really
Right.
how it is, not just in those smaller countries too.
Well, yeah, and Andrew, that's a great point. And here's what I have to kind of say to kind of follow up with it. The reason that I kind of keep it in the realm of black is because here's the thing: when you're talking about prostitution overseas, particularly in Europe, that's regulated. For instance, they have the red light district in a lot of those European countries. They have legal prostitution in Amsterdam, right? And so it's regulated. The women are protected by police. Essentially, they're protected by the institutions that white men have made for them to some extent or another. Now, in the United States, we have police, and they're going to protect the women here, or the children here, the girls here. But the bigger problem is this: you don't typically hear black men, particularly. You don't typically hear men, particularly going to Europe to pay for sex. You typically hear maybe South America a lot for black guys, all the new rage. Why? It's cheaper. They don't have the money for a 15-hour flight to Thailand. They don't have the money for a 16-hour flight to Europe, right? And so South America is their default, right? And so, but the bigger thing is this: even if they did have the money to go to Europe, in a lot of the cases, even though they don't, I wage that they probably wouldn't, just because they're able to get away with so much more with their dollars down south. And that's the brutal, honest truth. So yeah, I agree with you. It's other races of men that do this and partake in this. However, I go so hard on black men, particularly black men in the black manosphere, because they claim to be so pro-black. They claim to be so enriching the black community and wanting better for black people and this and this and that. But in so many aspects and facets of their lives, really, they're the biggest detractors from their own growth of the community, right? They're their own detractors from the prosperity of the community. And so I'm glad that you said that, Andrew, and I'm glad that we have, we have another brother that's with us, man. So thank you again for joining. We'll come back to you in a bit. Okay, Andrew?
Yes, sir.
Take your time, man. And so Gordon, it's good to see you up here, Gordon. Gordon Desir, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Hey, it's good to see you too, Truth. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Gordon. How's your night going?
Night's going good, man. Just putting my son to bed, But I just want to make it quick to you guys to tell you something what I've learned and what I've experienced. What I've learned from this presentation that you showed me is very mind blowing of what I have seen of what Cynthia Jean has sent to you. There's a half of things I do agree with her when she speaks the truth, and some things I do disagree. So either agree or disagree. But what she posted this thing is very true, and it's very unfortunate that what is their motive is about of why black men just go into doing interracial marriage. I don't have a problem with interracial marriage, but what I have a problem of interracial marriage is what is their motive is. If it's a bad motive, like they're doing, for example, then the truth is they're not going to make it. They're going to fall down real hard to find a rude awakening when it comes to that. The thing is that if interracial marriage is fine. But the thing is that you have to be careful because it's very dangerous because you need to get to know their family background and everything when it comes to interracial marriage. It's very dangerous. And I'm just realizing that, And but the thing is that what is your motive of doing this? If it's a good motive for a black man or white woman or whatever, okay, make sure that the motive is good, especially on their family's background and everything, then that's good. But if it's a bad motive, then you're going to fall real hard. And this is a straight up fact right here. Why? Because your self-hate and your hatred for black women. Because I don't want a black woman because they're not submitting to me. Oh, it's loud and ratchet and everything like that. How I know? Myself in middle school and all that stuff. Bad influence. What I watch, everything of that.
So I'm gonna kind of consolidate it, Gordon. I appreciate you speaking up, Gordon. And this is something that I always say as well. The reason that black men choose to date, and I'm gonna put you on mute for a second, Gordon. The reason why black men choose to date interracially is essentially to scorn black women and to run away from the problem or the problematic community that they have failed to build or they have successfully built as far as problems go in problematic communities, the black community, right? The reason why black women are starting to date interracially is because they have to. Okay, they absolutely have to. They have no choice. If they want to do better for themselves, then they have to find a better, higher earning, more educated group of men. They have to find like-minded counterparts. So when black women get out-educated or out-educate black men, they need to essentially to continue their growth, to continue their progression in life, find another group of men, find another group or another collective who believes in education as much as they do, right? They be taking a step backwards a lot of the time dealing with the black male counterparts who they out-educate. So I understand what you're trying to say, and some of the people in the chat are kind of confused with this whole motive talk, but I kind of understand what he's trying to say there. A lot of the times, black men see interracial dating as a trophy. Now, going to the actual statistics of last stream, black men who get into marriages with white women are 200% more likely to divorce than a white woman and a white man. All right. Conversely, black women who get in marriages with white men are 44% less likely to divorce than a white woman that gets with a white man. So they do better than white women do with white men by and large and as a whole, as far as marriage and divorce goes. So I hear what you're saying, and that kind of goes specifically to what you're saying, the motive. What's your motive? Well, if you're simply looking to date interracially because you want to show the world that you dated interracially, and because you think that you have a higher status symbol because you're dating a Latino or whatever the hell you want to date, because you just think that and you fetishize the exotic woman or whatever you think an exotic woman is, then most of the time, just as the numbers and statistics show, your marriage is going to fail because you can't even keep a marriage. You can't keep a marriage, period, if you're a black man for the most part. Most black men are terrible with marriage, which is why the black community has such a low marriage rate as it stands. And so I hear what you're saying. I just want to kind of clear that up for a lot of the listeners because they might be confused on like this whole motive thing. But the reason why black women date interracially compared to why black men date interracially are two very different motives or two very different reasons. And I got to make that really clear for the people listening. So thank you so much for saying that, Gordon. We have a $4 super chat. $4 super chat from Cerebral. She says, can you pull up Expat King's 10 reasons black men Brazil? Yeah, let me try and pull it up really quickly. If you can, Cerebral, email me that actually really quickly. My email I'm going to put in the live chat. The honest truth YT@gmail.com. The honest truth YT@gmail.com. If you can, Cerebral, thank you for the $4 super chat. Let's go ahead and go to Bossy Empress TV. Bossy Empress TV, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone.
And really quickly, Bossy Empress, my apologies. Janice, I want to thank you, Janice, for the $25 Cash App donation. Thank you, Janice, for supporting the channel. Go ahead, Bossy Empress TV.
Thank you. As someone who has been in that industry before, and I'm going to go back to the trafficking conversation that you were having moments ago about these women overseas. I personally know men who have traveled overseas to say that they were looking for a more submissive woman in Japan. I found out that this person was a supporter of KS and the Manosphere. And it really made a lot of sense. And when it comes to the Manosphere, a lot of them are resentful and make fun of women that do OnlyFans. But the difference between a woman that does OnlyFans and a woman that they're flying across the country to participate in this degenerate behavior with I can consent. These young ladies are being trafficked. And that's what I think what it is they're so wrapped up in this idea of male supremacy or something weird like that. I'm not really sure because it's hard to really dissect their pathology.
That's a great point. I'm gonna stop you there, Bossy Empress. That's a great point because you bring up something. Yeah, you're very right about that. There's a reason why we see this entire need to control, submit, and they always speak about younger women and this and that. And it really does lead into the fact that they seek to dominate essentially, to have victims. Essentially, they seek to just drive or have somebody that they can conquer and drive that spirit into the ground. That's what feeds them. That's why you see Kevin Samuels always with ridiculously high numbers, and they celebrate and they praise this man as the second coming of Christ, because what he does is what they all love to do. And this is evident in other aspects of black pop culture. When you look at rap, when you look at gangster music, when you look at the lack of black businesses, when you look at the lack of unification or solidarity as far as black men coming together to start actual progressive entities in the black community, the only thing that they rally together for, the only thing that they've managed to make multi-billion-dollar industries on, aside from athletics, is something as destructive as rap music. It's something as destructive as killing other members of your community because they rep a different color or a different number on their street tag or street sign or whatever it might be. Very seldom do you see black men actually come together to progress as a race for more economic infrastructure, this, and that. And so, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they all support and that they all drive themselves to markets that have to deal with women who are being trafficked for the most part. That leads right into their fiend, that leads right into their desire. They love to see that literally gets them off when they see men destroying other men online, like Kevin does, like Coach Greg Adams does, like Donovan Sharp does. When they see men eviscerating women and trying to destroy their spirits and cursing them out and beating them, just like as we see the violent black male live stream that we saw. When we see the large amounts of black men that love to see this, it directly relates and parallels to what you're saying now. There's something inside the minds of the modern day black men that love destruction. If they can't control, if they can't get you to submit to their destructive desires, they're going to find anywhere. They're going to go anywhere where they can find the destruction and thrive in it. And if that means that they need to go overseas to a third world, a second world country, a developing country, and find a young girl who doesn't have the ability to not consent because she's being pimped by another man that has the same skin color, however he speaks a different language, because we know black men all around the world, for the most part, are the same. Doesn't matter if they're Afro, Latino, or whatever it might be. He's a black man. He's a black man, and every other race of people sees it the same. And it doesn't matter what it might be. They're down for it because that leads into their need to see destruction, to see pain, to cause pain, and to have a problem with everything I have to say here on this live stream. Right. So I'm glad that you said that, and thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. That's once again direct words and experiences from someone who is a sex worker in the sex industry. So thank you for being transparent and open, Bossy Empress TV. Congrats, divested black woman. The floor is yours. Thank you for your patience. Then we're going to go to Common Sense Prevails. I know you've been waiting for a long time. Common Sense Prevails. Congrats, divested black woman. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yes. How's it going, man?
Yes, go ahead. It's going good, man. How's your day going?
I'm all right. Thanks for having me. Very controversial topic you have going on. I respect you for speaking on these issues.
Thank you.
Yeah, so,
Always.
Black men, they ain't shit. They got no power, and they're undesired. And this sex tourism is a real problem. I don't like to see that going on. Kind of seems like it's been going on for a while, and it's unstoppable. Unfortunately, it seems like black men are the only ones doing this, right?
No, it's not black men that are the only ones doing this, but it is lining up parallel in a parallel discussion with a lot of the things that we speak about and talk about on this channel, and particularly with the black community. The amount of destruction that we see in the black community at the hands of black men is larger than any other community. So that's what I can say. And the leadership of black men, by and large, is far more destructive and counterproductive than every other race of men in the history of mankind. So hopefully that indirectly answers your question.
So since we know that black men have no power and are partaking in these degenerate activities, how do you recommend going about this issue and solving this problem, since we're talking about it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that these types of messages need to be said, that the rest of the world, that other races of people need to see that not all black men that they think are out there are just walking degenerates and fools, that there are a group of us who don't agree with pop culture. There are a group of us who don't agree with the societal norms that have been I guess you could say, appropriated to black men due to black man's failures and failure in leadership. The world needs to see and hear a message that there are some decent black men out there. And once the world can finally start to see and understand the plight of their women, they might start to have different discussions. And my only desire, my thing is that I simply want to take those who are going to hear this message, apply it to their lives, and become better people. There's going to be a lot of black men ultimately who are going to hear my message and not want to do anything with it. As a matter of fact, their hatred for these types of messages is going to grow as they continue to hear them, as they start to hear them on more mainstream media, news outlets, and sources, as they start to see a book that I'm writing right now start to become a better seller or whatever it might be. They'll resent this message. But I do this specifically because there's a very large portion of our community that needs this message to be out there, that needs a voice to be able to fight on their behalf, to get the rest of the world to understand why they might be the way they are, why they might feel and see and translate or observe life in the lens that they do. And so as far as solving this, I don't know if it can ever be solved with the majority of black men, if I'm being completely frank and honest with you, because the discussions that I tend to have with black men go nowhere, no matter how many true statistics or analyzations or metaphorical analysis that I can give to them. It doesn't really start that notion of change. They're so solid in their dim-witted thought processes and thought logic that they don't have the ability to be drawn to more enlightenment, no matter how hard and how long you talk to them. So I struggle with the fact that, you know what, it might not be about change because they can't change. However, the message still needs to go out nonetheless, because I don't want the women in our community, the ones who have had to fall behind the failures of black men, the one who have had to face personal afflictions in life behind the leadership or the failed leadership of black men, to also have to face retribution from other races as well due to that of black men. And so that's really more of my big goal right now, is to just give a voice to those who try to say everything that I say, but they can't have it received in the way that it's received because they might be a black woman and they might have a stereotype against them, or they don't have a platform that I'll have in a few years. So that's really my goal as far as everything that I do and why I do it right there.
Wow, yeah, that's deep. Very interesting. For the most part, I agree. It seems like we all have to be grouped into this one prejudice, and it's unfortunate. Makes me really not want to associate. And I mean, I do agree that more people need to hear like a more alternative, I guess, ideology and get exposed to that. But it seems like everyone just wants to generalize and put everyone in one box, and you could easily just pull up one clip and it's like you got young women thinking, oh, every man is like this, every black man is like this. You got young men thinking every woman is like this, every black woman is like this. It just gets exhausting. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. That's why we do what we do here. The ultimate truth is, before this channel like this was, and I'm glad that you said that, congrats to Divested Black Women, we'll bring you on a little bit later. The reason why we do what we do is because there were a lot of women who were starting to feel like every single black man in the world feels the way that Kevin Samuels feels the way that Coach Greg Adams feels. And when they come onto this channel, when they see these live streams, most of the comments and emails that I get say, oh man, a well-spoken, educated man that doesn't sound like he's Tyrone off of the block, that actually believes in traditional values and treating women like humans, right? I mean, it's sad that the standard has gotten so low for black women that they're just happy to see a normal male in the black community. Normal by somebody who isn't a felony convict. Not to say if you're a felony convict, you're not normal. Somebody who believes in education, who believes in getting good jobs, who believes in working hard, who believes that you live in the best country in the world and that we should be protecting everything that we work hard for and protecting our community and trying to progress it into the next level of human evolution. Somebody that is essentially doing what every other race of men tries to do as far as the Western civilization's progress goes. They're like, oh my God, there's actually black men that believe and being better men. It's sad that they have to say that, but that's what most of the comments I get from black women are saying. They're saying, man, I didn't know guys like you existed. Where has this channel been my whole life? I'm not doing anything necessarily special. That's the sad part. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is being a male that focuses on growing, that focuses on being a better man. That's what every guy's supposed to do. But black women don't ever get to see that in a lot of the black men. Moreover, it's not that they don't see black males actually striving to do better. It's that they face retribution from the largest failed collective of men in the history of mankind. They face black men with colorism. They face black men with abuse, with war-torn communities, with no infrastructure as far as economic provisions go. It's crazy, you know. I see the super chat. Cerebral says, sent it to your mail. Please show the world tonight. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out, Cerebral. Give me a second. I'm trying to do a million things right now, but I'm definitely going to try and get to it, Cerebral. So thank you for sending that. I appreciate it. Rob TV, $5 says, I'm trying to dominate, conquer, and compete with other groups of men, so I stopped even listening to the Black Manosphere. All they do is complain. Rob TV, I want to congratulate you for your next level in evolution. You're already a million miles ahead of 90% of the men in the Black community. I just recently looked at a video that said, and I was going to show this video, but I'm not going to show it. It was a black guy, though. I think we showed on the last live stream, right? The black guy that was like, man, oh, wait, we showed it this stream. Was the black guy saying, man, don't go to Brazil? Or, I can't remember what it was. Anyways, the black guy saying, man, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the Manosphere. I don't want to listen to it anymore because y'all all keep saying the same thing. Oh, I remember what it was. It was a comment on Kevin Scamill's channel saying, hey, man, this content's kind of getting old. It's getting repetitive. It's the same thing. And I've even been missing some of Kevin's videos, which I never thought I would do. Well, the reason it's getting old and repetitive is because you're still in the same old repetitive life cycle in your own life. And so you see that you're not going forward as a person. Now, you might think that it's Kevin Scamill's channel or whatever it might be. You might think that it's the content getting repetitive, but no, what it is it's you still being stagnant in the same place in life that you are as a black male, and you're not happy with that. So, Rob TV, I'm glad that you said that comment. At some point or another, they're going to wake up and realize that, wow, my life is still the same. Nothing's changed for me. I'm not making any more money. I'm still lonely. I'm still beating my own meat to sleep. Crying, beating my meat to sleep, crying about women, how bad women are. Nothing's changed for my life. At some point or another, they wake up and finally realize it. So I'm glad, Rob TV, and shout out to you, my brother. You got the world as your oyster, man. You can do anything you want to in this life. And I really am a believer of that. Let's go ahead and move on with our live stream callers. Forgive me in getting really graphic right there, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive me there. I am sorry. I believe that Concerned Network 44, we've had you on a bit before, so we're going to move on to some of our newer people right now. I believe that Concerned is up next. Concerned before you do. Hold on, Concerned. I'm sorry. I'm going to let Common Sense Prevail goes because she was having some issues, but go ahead, Common Sense Prevails. She or he, forgive me. The floor is yours.
Hi, how are you? I'm so glad I was able to get on.
Oh, thank you, Common Sense Prevails. I know we were trying to get you on, but I'm doing very well. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good. Actually, the guy before me asked some questions that was really my question too, because I had a conversation with a black man that just disturbed me to my core. He said that black women shouldn't be protected, whereas white women should get all the protection that black men can give. And I asked him, please tell me why. He said, because white women were their allies. And I said, tell me, because I always see black women really, not panning for, really going all out for black men. Whereas I see white women tears really just destroying black men. So please tell me where you get this from. He told me because of the women in the pornography industry. He told
it's funny you said that. And let me stop you here. I was going to literally play this video and I decided not to. Maybe this is a sign that I should play this video. I decided not to because last time I played a DJ Vlad video, it got copyright struck and I had to edit it and then we lost the live chat. But technically I have the live chat on the screen right here so everybody can watch it. But I watched a video of this white adult actress, all right? And DJ Vlad went on to say, what is the problem or why do you choose not to do interracial scenes? And she says, pretty much the long answer was, well, at the end of the day, when my career finally is up, I want to be able to marry a white guy, right? And then he went on to say, well, I know this adult actress, and he name dropped her, and he said she has a black boyfriend, and she stopped him. She said, you can't stop. Don't say that. Stop. She said, he was like, why? Me and her are cool. And she was like, yeah, but she doesn't want that information out there. This is what the white adult actress said to Vlad TV. And he was like, really? And she was like, yeah, you didn't hear from me. She's like, if you said that, then you could say that, but you didn't hear from me. In our discussion that we've been having about the adult film industry and sex workers and things of that nature, this is a common prevailing topic and issue all the way through adult films to escorts to whatever it might be. This white woman who is a literal She literally gets paid to have intercourse with women on film. Hey, if you want to do that, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging you. Get it how you live. It's 2021. Of course, whatever. One would say that she has pretty much no hangups in life. But the one hangup that she did have is that she didn't want the world to know that she has or that she dates black men. Imagine that. Imagine being in that mind frame to where you're so exposed, your body parts are exposed to every corner of the dark web, the internet, but you still want to keep your black boyfriend under wraps. And you tell your friends not to tell anybody that you're dating black men. I was going to play the video, but I decided not to because it was going to get copyright struck. But common sense prevails. I'm really glad that you said that. I might still play it. You know what? I might still play the dang video. Really quickly, common sense prevails. I'm going to let you wrap up your thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay, and I asked him, he said because of the porn industry. He said that black women were more enthusiastic with white men, whereas white women were more enthusiastic with black men. Therefore, white women were their allies. So I asked him, well, if each race's woman was more enthusiastic with the other race's men, maybe the Illuminati of porn or whatever wanted to look like that.
Okay, common sense prevails. Yeah, I get what you guys saying. You're kind of losing me there, but thank you for calling in. I appreciate that. Very colorful discussion there. Let me find the video. Somebody's saying that we can play the video, but I can't do the audio or something like that. We can hear the end of play it. We can listen, but you can't show the video. Hello, Hey says, you know what? Let's try it. We can listen, but you can't show the video. All right. Let me try it that way. I'm thinking that the audio is registered, to be honest with you, but hey, well, whatever. Let me see. I found this video and I had it down here. All right. This is crazy. You know what? I might just show the video. I don't even care. If it's a copyright strike, it's a copyright strike. All right. If it's a copyright claim, it's a copyright claim. All I had to do was edit it. So if you're watching this on the live chat replay, you might not be able to see all the comments. I apologize. You might not be able to see all the comments. All right. This is crazy.
Fair use.
All right. Fair use, but I don't think DJ Vlad cares, to be honest with you. Jedi. Here we go. I got to show this, but this is confirmation. This is Lord saying, just Jonathan, just do it, man. Here we go. Dickie Benz. Girls in the industry won't do interracial, but date black men. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Let me just show it.
Their boyfriends, because they're black, they don't want to see their girl fuck another black guy on film. They're very territorial.
All right. Now, we've said this before. Once you go black, you're not coming back. Let me thank y'all for the latest super chats. $15 super chat from Team March says, vomiting in my mouth, pieces of my heart, and tears in my eyes, destroying my innocent wombs, destroying innocent wombs, bodies, lives, minds, breaking hearts, spirits, and laws, man's and their gods. Clear mirror, clear reflection. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that super chat there. And we had a $5 super sticker from Say No to Dusty Struggle. Oh, I see you. I know Say No to Dusty. You were looking to see if your membership was popping up. I'm going to check it right now as we continue to play this video. All right. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the white women will tell you themselves, but I'm a coon.
Okay. I heard Alexis Texas has a black boyfriend.
Uh-oh.
No comments.
No comments. No comments. Whoa, Vlad. Hold on. I know I'm an adult actress, but now you're crossing the line here. Whoa, Vlad. You're talking about Alexis Texas dating a black man. Hold on now. Black women say, see, I knew that. I knew that the white women really love black men. Tony Morrison with a $20 super sticker. Thank you so much, Tony Morrison, for the continued support. Thank you, Tony Morrison. Let's continue with this video. Oh, yeah, it gets worse. It gets worse. Jesus. Look how nervous she is.
Lives with is a black guy.
Well, she lives alone, but yeah.
She does?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I heard her boyfriend is a African American individual.
You said it.
But I do also know.
You keep thinking that you're desired, black male. You keep thinking black Negroid that looks to divest. You keep thinking that the white women, that the Latino women look at you in a positive light. They don't. You keep destroying the very community that you're going to tuck your tail between the legs and run back to once you realize and once you see the way that black men and other communities as a whole look at you. You keep destroying the very haven that you have, the lack of haven that you have left for you. You keep destroying the refuge that black women have for you by listening to Kevin Scamills and Coach Greg Adams and any other ignorant Negroid black manosphere content creator. You keep listening to that visceral hatred, it's going to be your undoing at the end of the day. Mark my words. Keep listening.
That her ex-husband,
Mhm.
what's his name?
Mr. Pete.
Mr. Pete is white.
Mhm.
So that doesn't really quite apply to Alexis Texas.
You can watch the rest of the video if you want to. I'm already probably going to get copyright struck from that, so I'm not going to play anymore. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The Slave Room says you're just a lick. You're just a lick. Let's go ahead and move on to some of our, and this is why, and once again, I'm not saying this is all, and Black Concern, I'm gonna let you go in 1 second, then we'll go to you, Jedi Mike. I'm not just saying that all black men are evil. The reason I make these videos of why nobody wants black men is so black men can start finally putting away, harboring some of that hatred that they have for black women, because no other group of women is going to look at you as a whole the way that your own women is going to look at you. No other group of women is going to support you more than your own women are going to support you. I'm not trying to just demonize black men. I just really need to prove this point that the demonization from black men to their own women is going to be the worst thing for you as a black man. You can choose to accept it. You can choose to reject it. But one way or another, life is going to show you and life is going to prove that what I'm saying here on this channel is the facts of the matter. You can think whatever you want to think. All right? You can think whatever you want to think. Just like on the last live stream, I see no problems with white men as far as the relation to black women. None at all. White men don't have a problem with black women. White men have a problem with black men. That's a fact. White women, white parents, Latino parents, Asian parents have a problem with black men. That's a fact. Concern, the floor is yours. Thank you for your patience.
Of course. So I wrote this out. One of the things that I, as a straight lover of black men, see is a deep depression in black men. And I noticed that basically the commentary, as somebody who is a professional storyteller, so I do marketing and branding and positioning, and the idea of essentially a shadow of fuck up is what it seems like a lot of black men are struggling with, like not wanting to be that black guy. And so that shadow is essentially seeming like it's driving a lot of black men to step out and date whomever, just essentially separate themselves from the image of the fuck up black man. And it's, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, that was good there. I'm gonna stop you there, but listen, because I think that you said some things there. Yeah, definitely. You know, mental health and a lot of the things that black men seem to think that only black women need to recognize or bear credence to or acknowledge is really what they need to by and large acknowledge. Because, and moreover, if you're going to be a leader of a community, the ones who should be going to therapy more than likely need to be the leaders. All right. Here's the thing about being a good leader. Once you're a good leader, you recognize and you'll have the psychological or psychoanalyzation or the mental aptitude needed to analyze your followers, to analyze the sheep, to analyze your herd, to analyze your tribe, and to appropriately handle every single different type of emotional constraint or situation that might make itself known as far as the household, as far as your community. And so this whole thing with Kevin Scamills is always telling black women that they need to be in therapy and doing this and doing that. It needs to be said more to the leaders, the failed leaders that black men are, because the women who they claim that they need to follow, who they claim need to follow them, aren't the ones who need to essentially make sure that are mentally correct. What starts from the top of the head is going to trickle down to the soles of the feet. If the leadership at the top of the community is okay, then leaders can teach appropriate emotional response, appropriate economic fiduciary responsibility. They could teach appropriate mental stimulation. The head, once the head is healthy, the rest of the body follows. Okay. But if the leaders aren't morally intact, if the leaders don't have the ability to righteously, to morally, to progressively lead in the appropriate manner, then everything else, no matter how good it is going to die in following. If your mind is not healthy, if your brain is not healthy, if you have a mental defect, or if you have a, God forbid, brain aneurysm, or a brain clot, or clot in your brain, which is what an aneurysm is, it doesn't matter how many muscles you have. It doesn't matter how in shape you are. It doesn't matter any of that. Once your mind goes, your body follows, because your mind controls everything. The leaders control everything. It doesn't matter how good, how well versed, how economically, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter how much therapy the women go to if the leaders of the community are consistently effed up. So this whole thing that they love to relish in, oh yeah, you need therapy, you need this, you need that. No, she doesn't need therapy, my nigga. You do. Because you want to be the leader. But that makes too much sense for Negroids. You want her to go to therapy, but you want to lead. I think that it's more important for you to go to therapy, my nigga. Also, I want to kind of Concern, I'm gonna kind of go on. Concern, I know you have a bit more to say. We gotta kind of go on in discussion here. We have a couple other people. Concern, we'll try and come back. Hang on the live stream. We'll try and come back to you. Black men are going to hear my message, excluding the men that are on this panel, excluding the men that support, that have come into and say, hey, you know what? We acknowledge, we listen, we hear your message. Trust me, the men who are listening to this right now, the men who are on the panel, the black men who are on the panel right now listening to this, it hurts to hear some of these things. Hell, I'm a black man. I say this all the time. It hurts for me to have to even say some of the things I'm saying right now. But facts are facts. All right. And the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, we are the worst off community. If you want to see true progress, then you need to work on the heads of the community. I say that both metaphorically and quite literally. No pun intended and pun intended. If we want to do better as a community, then we need to assess the leaders or the heads of the community. Black men always want to place all this responsibility on the women, but they want to be the leaders. It doesn't work that way. It can't work that way. Without a good brain, you're not going to do anything. I can't say that because Susan, I can't say that. It's not politically correct. Without you being in the right train of thought, you'll never get anywhere that you're supposed to get into in life. If this isn't correct, nothing else will be correct. This comes first. Everything comes thereafter. You've heard a lot of millionaires say, if I lose my millions, I can get it all back. Why can they get it all back? They can get it all back because of their mindset. They know how to appropriately place themselves in the right situations, how to appropriately calculate and take certain risks, how to appropriately garnish and then get certain resources needed to put themselves in that position. It's the knowledge that their brain, that the leader, the brain, the object, the organ that controls everything else in the body, that controls their eyesight, that controls their ear. You see, it's not a coincidence that at the very top of our anatomical or physiological structure is the most important membrane in our body. It's not a coincidence that at the very top is the brain. At the very head of our leadership is the brain. It's not a coincidence. And many millionaires have said the same thing. If I lose it, I'll get it all back because of this. So the black community needs to start acknowledging that this is very wrong with the black men in the community. And until we acknowledge the black male's brains and illogical thought processes and twisted, demented thoughts, the black community will continue to suffer. However, the women are going to start to understand what they need to do. They're going to start to understand that, you know what, I'm going to choose another group of men who have their thoughts together, who have their leadership together, who have their mental fortitude intact, who have their actual humanitarian belief systems intact. I'm going to start going ahead and going to their communities. So you want to be pro black man? That's what you need to really fight. Go ahead, Jedi Mike. Forgive the delay. Oh, you said 1 second? Take your time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, man. Go ahead.
All right, my mic good?
Mike sounds great, bro.
All right, cool. All right, hey, how you guys doing? Good to see y'all. Andrew, happy birthday to you, man. But yeah, I just want to say, there's several things that you said there. One thing I agree with. we're kind of shifting the conversation to mental health and what some of the topic is, like when they go into the trafficking and everything. I just want to kind of deal with one, the trafficking, kind of go into more thing of the responsibility, like you said, about the leaders. Obviously, we're saying mental health for anyone is should be a priority. However, one thing that also I think of ignorance, which is the definition of ignorance, is willing lack to receive knowledge, is the fact that you have these resources available for you, but you don't take it because you think you don't need help. With that itself, then it's the only person to blame is yourself, regardless of any mental condition that you might have had, because the fact that you're not willing to make the step of receiving help, which that I think that's pure ignorance. But the thing with as men is in terms of we are not prioritizing what the actual problem is. As you see in over the pandemic, and I was going to the topic that we're talking about, trafficking, how trafficking increased over about 40%, and then most of the women, victims were actually Black women and young Black girls. So I'm saying that the thing is that we're supposed to be the protectors of the community, is that what comes also saying of, how the mind isn't right, the whole body is right. One of the negative things actually in terms of of adding toxicity to your mind is absorbing toxic content, i.e. the manosphere. So what thing is the same thing you eating, junk food the whole time, same thing you eating Doritos, Twinkies and all this other stuff, and then you wondering why you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure and stuff, but yeah, you claim the women are the ones who are overweight, but that's a whole nother discussion for another day. But the thing about that is that those things, you're absorbing negative things, and therefore you're going to breed a toxic behavior. Is that the whole thing, you are what you eat. If you absorb and eat, obtain toxic information and toxic environments, i.e. the manosphere, the community that's not holding themselves accountable but claim that they are the one that says a ping pong game of deflection, all you got to do is to blame is yourself for reason the position that you are in. And that's why you complain, or why you so angry, going raging on Twitter, raging on this, calling, going attacking on Black women creators and everything, for them actually realizing that they don't need you to survive anymore, and saying to the fact that now they're the ones trying to protect the ones who are responsibility to protect them in the first place. And there's an old time back in the day, if you go way back into the, I don't say the 60s, but even to the old days just of, conquering power, when as men, rights usually link up to responsibilities. So if we want to have all the rights, as men, then we have all the responsibilities, and the women and the children, all that stuff is part of our responsibility. So I'm saying that if you're not taking those things, then not only that, not only have the lack of resources to stand on in the first place, then who you have to complain? Like I said, we have the mirror. We lack education. This was saying one thing I was talking about on my channel is how Black men, we need to be educators, because most of us really are illiterate. And you take this as a defense about this, because look, you're not, when you come into these panels, all you complain about is deflection and all these other things of BS that doesn't even matter. And then you're wondering why our community is still in the same place, because your mindset is in the same place. You have not taken the leap of faith that we say as most Black men we don't take. So I'm seeing other men here on this on the panel that you're now continually seeing growing on this channel, which shout out to you. Not sure for creating this platform and everything, this community that's growing, and men are kind of getting on board. And now you've seen on Kevin Samuels, we saying, oh, where's the abuse? The abuse is right in front of you, but you don't want to look at it because because your damn glasses are dirty. You can't see shit. But anyway, but the thing about that is that you're so focused on clean your kitten heels, but you can't clean your eyes to see like, oh yeah, this is actually the problem. Nope. And then you try to focus on selling other things because you want to be profitable. Like I said, the pride comes amongst the fall, and eventually the fall is coming. All this manosphere, all this toxic things, and all the deflection of terms of the Black men, that the degeneracy is going to fall eventually. But the prosperity of the edifying Black male will come out of it. You have to pull the dead toxic root forward to put an actual edifying seed to be nurtured. And that's why I'm saying, instead of the boys, instead of the Black men, it starts with the boys. Because you need to understand, like, where is actually the time of this degeneracy or actual toxic mindset is actually starting. Where is it starting? And I think that's the crucial point, because that's the thing. Because most of you are adult, you're so much you can't really train an adult to do what he wants, because they already make up his mind. So you let that path go wherever you want. But your children are innocent. So I'm saying the same thing going with the human trafficking thing. They're the most vulnerable people in the world. They're saying to getting toxic. That's why the Black girls are getting into the human trafficking. The lack of the fathers there. And I'm saying the fathers there was the president actually being the protector, then that statistic wouldn't exist anymore. So I'm saying, what do you prioritize? Do you prioritize being, prioritize of just trying to get, be right, or are you actually prioritizing winning and being the leaders of our community?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Jedi Mike. So well said. Thank you for that, Jedi Mike. I appreciate that, man. Tashi Girl, smile. Thank you, Tashi Girl, for your patience. I appreciate your patience, Tashi Girl. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on. I know I'm a little off topic, but I just wanted to throw in here that own Black father, who was, he is passed away, but he was an amazing man who took Black men to task in just the same way that you take Black men to task. And he saw that he saw a negative thing, and he would always try to get them hired, give them work, give them something to do where he was working. And he said, you might start out sweeping the floors at $13 an hour. This is way, way, way back when, where you could sweep the floors at $13 an hour. But my father said that you will get to be here and get to be there. And I can remember many times where I witnessed him cuss out. I mean, literally cuss out men who failed at the job, and they only failed because they left it. They left it. He said, this is the easiest thing that you will ever do. This is the easiest thing you will ever have. This is the way that you're going to make money. Not only will you make money, you will have a pension, you will have a well-paying job if you just continue. And I used to think that he was very mean. I thought he was so mean. But now that I look back on it, he was a leader in his community. And there are still Black men, younger Black men than him, that are alive and doing so well for themselves because they listened to my dad. And I really love that you are putting out there that Black men should be the leaders in the community. Yeah, Black women, we have our problems. There's definitely issues, but if we hone in on the leaders, the ones that are supposed to show us how we are supposed to be, what we're supposed to be, what is going to be of greatness, Black women will follow. That's just the thing. I am
Absolutely.
a twice-degreed woman. My father raised 4 children, 3 sons, who are the breadwinners in their family, who have taken their families and done amazing things. And we all have successful lives. We all are doing very well.
And I want to say one thing, Tasha girl, and listen, I appreciate you, just to kind of draw it in a bit. I'm glad that you said this, and it's very important that you said this. A lot of the time they'll try and say, oh, you're always pointing out, oh, you go shoot, you're always trying to make it seem like, like it's all the Black man fault. I a lot of the time this is what I hear, but when I hear women like you acknowledge that, hey, Black women, we have our things that we need to work on too. I hear Black women acknowledging what they need to work on far more than I hear Black men acknowledging what they need to work on as far as the manosphere or the pink side, the pink pill, or the divestment movement claims. I hear much more actual self-accountability in the minds and in the rhetoric of women and Black women than I do in Black men. Black men in the manosphere think that they could do no wrong. They think that they've been perfect, that everything that's happened to them is just a system of racism and injustice, and that the Black women are out to get them, and that they haven't done anything wrong, and that the Black women should all worship them for being where they're at because whatever it might be. I hear no accountability or very little accountability. Very few Black men will come onto my panel and say, hey man, listen, I know that we don't have it all together. However, I don't like, no, it's always, nah, man, here you're pandering, you're a coon. It's always that. It's never a, hey, I understand where you're coming from. Black women, a lot more often than not, will say, hey, we don't have it all together. We're trying to work on ourselves, but, and then they'll say what you have to say. I've noticed that, and I'm glad that you said that. I'm very glad that you said that, and I'm happy that you said that. Tasha, we're going to move on for a second, but keep those thoughts. We'll come back to you here in a bit. And shout out to your father, Tashi, for actually being a leader. You see, Tashi's father sounds a lot like my father. When I used to come do something, when my father told me to do something and it wasn't done the way it was supposed to be done, he would sit me down and say, nah, I told you to do that, right? And I'd be like, oh, shoot. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Well, you told me that you could do it, right? And I'd say, yeah, I did. For instance, there was a fence that we had to paint in our backyard. And I wanted money because at the time I was playing paintball and I needed to buy some more paintballs and fill my CO2 canister for my paintball gun. And so my father said, I tell you what, we're spending a lot for your paintball gear. You're going to need to start paying for some of it because it's expensive. It was super expensive. I loved playing paintball when I was a teen. And so I said, all right. So he said, one day I heard him say, we're going to find somebody to paint this fence. And I said, no, don't do it. I'll paint it myself. And he said, it's going to be a lot of work. And I said, that's fine. I could do it. I can do it. He was like, are you sure? He's like, once you start something, I want to make sure that I'm going to hold you to finishing it. It's like, it's a lot of work, son. I don't know if you're quite able to do that now. I said, Pop, I can do it. Just let me do it. He said, all right. So he paid me up front. He paid me ahead of time. I went and got my paintball guns. He went and got the paint spray machine. When I tell you that it was so much work to paint that fence, after about 6 hours, I was sitting, and it was probably about 3/4 of the way done. I was sitting on the bucket. He said, how you doing, son? I said, I don't know if I can finish it. He said, well, you have to. I said, Pop, I can't finish this, man. He said, I knew that you couldn't do it, son, from the very beginning, but I wanted to hold you accountable to you doing exactly what you told me that you could do. And so I need you to finish this fence. All right? I need you to finish this fence. In every situation in my life, my father was just like that. If I told my father I was going to do something, he expected it to be done in the time and in the manner that I do it at. That rudimentary, that fundamental, I guess you could say, militaristic train of thought, it was put into me, right? So much to the point to where people think my father was in the military, right? He gets that all the time. Were you in the service? Were you a military man? Were you a police officer? He gets this all the time, right? It's because he has a very methodical way of thinking. He does things when he says he's going to do it at the time he's going to do it in, and he expects his son to do the very same thing. So now, as I'm a man now, if somebody tells me that they're going to do something, I expect that to be done. If I say I'm going to do something, I do my damnedest to make sure that's going to be done, because as a man, my father taught me that that's what men do. Now, the reason why you see men that have a lot of problems with the things that I say and the way that I say them is because you didn't have the men in the black community with the fathers that I had in my life. You didn't have the men in the black community with the father, like the young woman who just got done speaking about her father, who would cuss out some of the employees for whatever it might be. Whether or not you think that's right or wrong, it's the words behind the action that are truly important. It's the mindset behind the action. With young boys, they need to understand that life needs to be done a certain way in order for them to develop into well-balanced adult males. Now, I'm not saying that women can't do this. I'm not saying that women don't have the ability to raise an actual adult male in America. Heck, my father was raised by a single mother until she got remarried when he was a teenager, and he's a stand-up guy, right? So I'm not saying they don't have the ability to do that. However, what I am saying is that nowadays, with everything that these kids draw in from outside influences, from YouTube, from their friends' conversations, from the internet, it makes the mother's job a lot more difficult. And so black men are going to try and hold black women's feet to the fire, but this is a completely different day and technological age that we're living in 2021. To raise a child now in 2021 is very different from when my father grew up in 1970 or 1980. All right, so that needs to be accounted for as well. The reason why we don't have a lot of black males in the black community, black men in the black community, is because they never had black men in their lives. We're going to move on to our conversations here. We're going to move on. Janelle, welcome to the panel. I know we're kind of covering a lot right here, ladies and gentlemen. We've delved off the path, but if you want to hear specifically the topic at hand that we were talking about, then you have 2 hours beforehand or an hour and a half beforehand to kind of listen to that. So Janelle, welcome to the panel. Thank you for your patience. The floor is yours. And make sure you unmute yourself, Janelle.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. I hear you perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, I've been watching your I came across it, and it's just interesting to me. I love your show, by the way, and I've seen Kevin Samuels' show change drastically. Like if everyone watched him when he first came out.
Janelle, you cut off for a second. Are you still there?
It says,
Janelle? Yeah. Repeat the last 15 seconds of whatever you said. You said you saw Kevin Samuels' show change dramatically, or I'm sorry, dramatically.
Drastically.
I said the same thing.
That I just watched the thing today where he had those non-black women come on there talking about black women and how they're stealing black men, and it's just crazy to me, and how there's no domestic violence in the black community. When you have black men on YouTube talking about they're going to kill black women, a black woman is killed every 6 hours in the black community,
right?
And I just think it's ridiculous that we're not really speaking out about it.
Yeah.
And I noticed I was in college. I was in the NAACP. I was used to seeing the organization ran by women. The men were often the leaders or the face. There was a lot of women in the organizations, and even when I would try to recruit Black men at my school, they
Looks like we lost her again. Janelle, your connection is dropping. Let me try and unmute you and mute you again. Janelle, are you still there? Looks like Janelle's having some technical difficulties. Janelle, it might be on my end here. Maybe it's just me. I see everybody's kind of freezing up a little bit, so it might just be my personal connection. Can y'all hear me okay? Press a 1 if you can still hear me okay in the chat. Okay, everybody can still hear me. Jedi Mike said he can. Janelle, I'm going to remove you, Janelle. I'm not sure if you can hear me right now, but make sure that you come back onto the panel. Right now you're frozen, and I'm not able to mute or unmute you. So I like what she was saying, though. I like what she was saying. She was saying the NAACP or the organizations in college are ran by women, most likely. And I assume that what she was getting ready to say is when she tries to recruit Black men, a lot of them had no interest in joining, is what she was going to say there. So, Janelle, make sure that you join again. Thank you for the ones in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate that. Akina, we're going to go ahead and go on to you, Akina. We're going to go ahead and go on to you. The floor is yours, Akina. Go ahead.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, Akina. Thank you.
First of all, I like your panel. I like to see, raising awareness from a Black man standpoint. So that's a great thing. Not to say that Black women are perfect. Of course, every side have work to do, but I believe that the major issues that we're facing in the Black community, if the Black men take them seriously, as in like be employed more, get education and get out of the street, I feel like that would drastically change the dynamic and the economics of the Black community. But
Absolutely. And I'll let you kind of wrap up with what you're going to say here. Did you have anything in particular you wanted to say? Go ahead.
the main thing I wanted to say is appalling to me how Black men can get on the internet and say other races of women are better than their women, and not realizing by saying that you're admitting to your failure, because the state of the woman reflects how much of a great leader the men in that community are.
Right. Absolutely. And it's so well said, and the bigger thing, and this is why I kind of make sure that I break down the interracial dating motives, if you will, right, that I broke down earlier. Black men date interracially because essentially what they see in other races of women is a collective group of men who have provided a different level of infrastructure and comfort for the women that are in that community. And so instead of doing the hard work as men to build that same infrastructure and community inside of America, inside of Africa, inside of whatever other region of the earth that Black men live in at the time, they seek to just take the cheap route, take the quick route out and run and try and just cheat their way into another system that other men built for them. Right? Instead of, once again, doing the hard work that it takes to raise your community up, just as every other group of men did in America, to raise their community up and do better for their community as a whole, Black men simply want to take the shortcut, take the cheap way out. That's their idea of fixing it and solving it, and then bragging on the internet how they are able to date, how they're able to fail and divorce in marriages with other races of women, because that's exactly what they're doing. Most of them aren't getting married when they date interracially. But if they do, most of them get divorced as well. So that's a fact. Thank you so much for that. Janelle, I see you back here. So we'll let you back on in 1 second. Dominique Escalis is a new channel member. Thank you, Dominique, for being a new channel member. I appreciate that contribution and channel membership. Channel members have a couple of different perks here. Aside from the untimely uploading of vlogs and members only videos, when I do start to upload more Start Your Change 30-minute to 45-minute talking videos where it's just me talking and it's a different looking setting. A lot of you have really enjoyed the Start Your Change videos. Make sure that you watch those. I think the last one we do is body positivity, and then the last one we did is body positivity, and then one other one was I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, you'll be able to see those. Members will have access to those before the rest of our subscribers do. Nothing against the subscribers. I love y'all as well. I just have to give some of the perks to the members, right? Some of the perks. 348 people still watching. The channel analytics, as far as my YouTube channel goes, are absolutely astounding for my viewer retention. This is the reason why our numbers are going up, and this is the reason why we will continue to grow. It's because a lot of the people who watch stay, for a good amount of time. 350 people watching. Just 2 weeks ago, we had 250 people watching. So the numbers are going up, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a part 3 to this because, once again, I did not cover everything that I wanted to cover as far as interracial dating and relationship goes. Who knows? Maybe next stream we'll cover an Asian perspective of how they look at black men. We spoke about white women, then we spoke about the Latino women today. Maybe we'll go to the Asians. However, rest assured, there's still so much mind-numbing content out there for me to explore with you all via audio and video that it will blow you away. Blow you away. No pun intended. No pun intended. What we're going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start to wrap this up. We're going to start to wrap this up. I'm starting to fumble my words. I can only talk live for so long. Most radio shows have a lot of pauses and they have a lot of other people. And thank God I have panel members like y'all who are here to help me and talk with me and add so much of your own personal stories and personal experiences to this. Honestly, y'all are a very large part of why this show is starting to grow the way it is. So I thank you for it. If it was just me by myself, obviously I'd be fumbling and jumbling my words an hour into this, which sometimes I still am. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this, or we're going to start to shut this down. I want to thank everybody for being up here. I know that there are a few people who didn't get to make it. And so next time we'll have our third interracial dating stream. It's going to be in a couple of days. I'm preparing for it now. I'm going to take everybody down, but listen, I love you if you are on the panel. I appreciate you being here. Make sure that you join us the next time. And until then, I'll see you later, Andrew. I'll see you later, Concern. Jedi Mike, it's always an honor. You know that, my brother. Thank you so much for everybody that is voluntarily removing themselves. I appreciate y'all. I feel bad when I have to take people down. It's like, man, you know, people got stuff that they want to say, but I have to create a level of exclusivity with this platform. And I have to make sure that I carry enough information for the next live stream. Shay Hart says, another fire stream. Can't wait for part 3. Yeah. Y'all don't even understand. There's so much I didn't get to say this live stream. It's just wild. You know, what's really, it's wild what you're really getting ready to hear. You have no idea. You have no idea. It just gets worse. And I say this all the time. I don't know how it gets worse, but it gets worse. It gets worse. C2 says, you got this. Lin says, please like the stream on your way out. Thank you, Lin. Marina says, part 3, celebration emoji. Absolutely. It's whatever. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you for thanking me. I do as much as I can while I can do it. For all of you who did donate and contribute to the channel, I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to you. This video is directly brought with your hard-earned dollars. I was able to buy the piece that I need to upgrade my microphone. So hopefully in the next live stream, you'll see me with the Rode Pod mic hooked up. I bought it from eBay. It's going to take a couple of days to ship over here. And that means we'll start the the continuance of the You Can't Handle the Truth interviews. I have a lot of good interviews standing by. A black police officer who's going to explain to me how he thinks about the black community. That's going to be a trip. I have a black range officer, Spencer, who's probably watching right now. Shout out to Spencer, who was in the military, who had a very, very, very tumultuous upbringing, but still went on to become a progressive, well-to-do, married black man in the black community. Black men, you have no excuses. Once you hear Spencer's story, you're going to understand why I say that you have no excuses. And we have more interviews as well. If you haven't checked out the You Can't Handle the Truth series, we have interviewed a woman who was divorced and then recently married, not recently, but married a high value, high earning, severe high earning, might I say, not low 6 figures, I'm talking mid to high 6 figures earning man. And guess what? She was past that wall age. Make sure that you watch that. We interviewed an OnlyFans model who is a very vibrant young lady, and I think very highly of her. And she gives her story based off of her experiences with the black community, her upbringing, and why and how she got into doing OnlyFans and adult escorting. You guessed it. She was raised in the black community, and it had a lot to do with her joining. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be it. Once again, I want to thank you for listening from wherever you're listening to. This is so hard. I'm trying to perfect my radio broadcasting voice. It's so hard. When you listen to good radio broadcasters and hosts, man, they are good at what they do. It is not easy to talk fluently and continuously. It is very difficult. This is very difficult to do. And so for the pookies that sometimes get on and they like stutter left and right, I know I destroy them. It's difficult. I'll give them that. It's difficult. It's difficult, but still, when you're typing in a comment, you don't have to do that live, and so I expect you to have proper grammatical English, okay? I'm not gonna. If you have a stupid comment that speaks in Ebonics, I'm gonna go ahead and roast you. I understand it's difficult. $50 super chat from Self Love Heals. She says, "I see you, shooting star." Thank you for the $50 super chat. Marina says, "Great live. This was so good. I'm glad that y'all enjoy it. Honestly, every single time I do a live, I'm like, man, this was not the best I could have done. Every single live I do, except for the last live we had. The last live we had, I was like, man, that was a great live. Shrooms. I sent Shrooms, one of our channel members, a text. I said, man, listen, that was a great live. Every other live, I'm like, man, I didn't do it. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. You know, IK says, don't be so hard on yourself. I appreciate that. Thank you. Ice Cream Cake says, take voice lessons. I'm gonna take voice lessons, but only for singing. I can't sing this stream, ladies and gentlemen. I can't sing. I don't have anything left in my voice right now. I just don't have it. I'm glad that y'all enjoy. Bossy and Precision says it's always amazing. Wow. Thank you so much. Voice exercises, absolutely. Tony Morrison. Thank you so much, Tony. I can't wait to start using the new mic. It's going to sound, and the new mic's not going to sound like, oh my God, it's not going to be like crazy difference, right? But you're going to be able to tell a very drastic sound quality difference, right? This mic is great. It's been great to start us to get us to where we're at, and I love it for what it is. I always love this mic here. But like I always say in my live streams, it's my job as a man. It's my job as a YouTube content creator to make sure that I'm progressing myself and progressing the content of the stream to be better looking for y'all, you know? And eventually what I want this channel to be is going to be something completely different than what it is right now. However, I'm a severe and a firm believer in doing as much as you can with what you can do while you can do it. And so that's what I seek to do. Thank you all so much for that. My internet bill is due in a couple of days. It's a little bit of a larger internet bill, but thanks to y'all's donations, I can wing it. I can absolutely wing it. $3 super sticker from Alexander Brandon. I think he had another donation as well. Thank you, Alexander Brandon. Beijing has a great message here. Can't wait for the next installment. Like, subscribe, and comment. Also, if you can't wait to keep the conversation going with us offline, you can join the Discord. I need to be in the Discord a lot more, admittedly. I'm not there that much. However, if you'd like to communicate with other members of our channel, then the Discord is where you need to be. The link is in the live chat box. If you're watching this on the replay, there's a good chance that you're not going to see this link because the video that we showed earlier today is not going to allow us to show live chat replay. However, you'll see it pop up in the live chat box, and so that's a good thing there. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I am hard on myself. I can't help it. I can't help it, you know? I can't help it. That's just the way I am, but I'll work on it. I know that y'all have my back. This is another iteration of Intermission Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where we take a break to really take a step back from our typical day-to-day endeavors and environments. I appreciate you for joining me and joining us wherever you are around the world, whatever you're doing right now. It means the world to have you here. Until next time, take care of yourself. Remember, peace on YouTube is only a click away. It's only a new Gmail account away. You just create another Gmail for yourself, log into YouTube, and you have a vast array of new recommended videos that YouTube will make sure that they flow in the range of appropriate, user-friendly videos for a first-time new user on YouTube. That's about as clear as mud, right? If you're if you're stressing out from the videos that you see on your time feed, make another YouTube account, ladies and gentlemen. It definitely fixes that for you. It definitely fixes that for you. This is going to be it. In a few days, we'll be back to continue. It's going to be a trilogy. Nobody Wants Black Men Part 3. My, oh, my, oh, my. It's going to be a hell of a show. I'll see you there. Take care of yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Truth out.